Today, we will talk about biases and try to find an answer to a question why companies like Google has been taking biases seriously so that they even have launched the unbiasing program. We are going to talk about 6 cognitive biases that can push your team sideways and have an undesired impact on your success. Hi, I'm Hannu, and let's face it, every one of us has some biases. You can also call them mental or behavioral models that impact our thinking. Biases have been serving us throughout the history of humankind. It is this gut feeling of or emotion how we can quickly notice something is harmful to our survival or livelihood, threaten our health, our family or tribe, or prohibit our own success. While our biases serve us, they can also harm us. The problem is that biases are mostly reactive and some consequences of biased thinking are not immediate. Only later one may realize that decisions in the past, because of biased thinking, can be the reason for limited success or even a total failure. So, in order to manage risks of having too much biased thinking, it is worth knowing they exist and recognize some common biases so you can start tackling them. Biases can be harmful to teams and companies because they may lead to flawed decision making. If you make biased decisions over and over again, it may cause your products to fail or people to leave, among other things. Let's now take a look at the 6 biases which I think can have a big impact for your team's success. Imagine a situation where your team has a new design to work with, and the majority of team members may already have made up their mind how the design will be implemented. What usually happens is that a less powerful or less experienced team members conform to that decision, even though they may have some other proposals which could work actually better. For the sake of conformity, they don't want to rock the boat and express their opinions and views. One great way to tackle conformity bias is to create an environment where everyone is encouraged to express their feelings and share their views to others. This will lead to better designs and products that will bring better value to customers. Anchoring bias is somewhat related to conformity bias. It can occur in a team when an experienced team member or team leader presents, for instance, an initial estimate, a proposal, or a solution, and the rest of the team members rely too heavily on that initial information without considering alternative options or perspectives. For instance, let's say your team is working on a project and the team leader suggests an initial deadline for completing the project. The rest of the team may anchor on that initial deadline. They may not consider alternative timelines or options for completing the project because the initial deadline comes from a person of power. This can lead to a narrow focus on meeting initial deadline. It may not be realistic and feasible, can lead to suboptimal decisions and outcomes for the project. Like with conformity bias, it is important for team members to be aware of the potential influence of initial information. The team should actively seek out alternative options or perspectives. Team leaders can also play a role in avoiding anchoring bias by encouraging open discussion and debate among the team members. To challenge our own thinking is key. In addition, you can ask multiple opinions, even outside your team, to reduce the effect of anchoring bias. Who are you to tell us what to do? Don't tell us how to do our jobs. We have been doing this for 10 years and we know our game. You may have experienced this scene in your own career or even have said these words yourself. Welcome to the world of overconfidence bias. Industrial history is full of examples of companies who have fallen into this trap. You could describe overconfidence bias of being one's worst enemy, a person or team being stuck in their own ways of doing things. Then one day someone comes and does your job better, cheaper, faster, and eventually puts you out of your own business. One of the worst things in overconfidence bias is that teams are not actively seeking feedback, finding ways to improve and bring value to customers. Teams will stagnate and slowly decline over time. What has worked in the past does not work today and certainly not in the future. You will misjudge your customers being loyal to you while being comfortable with the success already achieved. To avoid overconfidence bias in your team, it is important to be aware of the potential influence of overconfidence and to actively seek out alternative options and perspectives. Add a channel for feedback and seek ways to make progress. Using multiple methods or independent evaluations can also help to reduce the effect of overconfidence bias. Next, let's talk about action bias. In general, bias for action is a great thing. Without it, things and life does not move forward. Those with good level of action bias get things done and succeed. But when combining heavy actions in a team without proper direction, you may start to see some problems. One example of action bias in a team might be when a team is facing a problem that they don't know how to solve. Team members may feel pressure to take action even if the proposal is not likely to be effective. They simply feel they need to do something. This can lead to a waste of time and resources and may even make the problem worse. A strong bias for action can make a team not considering alternative options. They just try to create something that seems a valid thing to do. This can lead to wasted time if the solution is not working as it should. Before making a decision, it is good to take a step back and openly think about all options for a good solution and possible consequences. In addition, it is also important to be open to the possibility that doing nothing may be the best course of action in some situations. If we succeed, it was because of me. But if we fail, it was them, because of others, leaders, customers, or any other external factor. This is a symptom of a self-serving bias. Here we have a tendency for team members to attribute their successes to internal factors, such as their own abilities or efforts. Their failures, on the other hand, are due to external factors, such as bad luck or the actions or mistakes done by others. This can lead to flawed decision-making and can have negative consequences for the team's performance. The self-serving bias can lead to a lack of accountability and can make it difficult for the team to learn from their mistakes and improve their performance. Another example could be when a team is working on a project and one team member is overly confident in their ability and ideas. They may not seek out input or feedback from other team members, assuming that their own ideas are the best. This can lead to a lack of collaboration and can make the project prone to setbacks. Self-serving bias can also manifest in a group decision-making when team members tend to ignore dissenting opinions and perspectives, and they assume that their own view is the correct one. This can lead to a lack of diversity in decision making and can lead in suboptimal decisions. In planning fallacy, teams will underestimate the time and resources needed to complete a task or a project. This can lead to unrealistic expectations and can have negative consequences for the team's performance. They may not account for unexpected challenges or setbacks and may not build in enough time for contingencies. This can lead to missed deadlines and budget overruns and can make it difficult for the team to meet their goals. Another example could be when a team is planning a new initiative and they overestimate resources and time they have available and underestimate the complexity for the project. This can lead to unrealistic expectations and can make it difficult for the team to meet their goals. Leaders can also drive towards planning fallacy. It happens when promising customers unrealistic deadlines and painting pictures that don't match with reality. Unfortunately, this can lead to difficult conversations and put teams under too much pressure, cut corners, and compromise product quality. Okay, here are 6 biases. Some of them you are certainly aware of or have experienced yourself. Let me know in the comments what are the ones you find most harmful. But there are tens of other cognitive biases out there. Even it is hard, we should be aware of them and start making better and bias-free decisions. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.